Hello everybody, I'm Yolanda, aka Creative Mommy of Two, and welcome back to my channel. Today, as you might see by the project, we are going to do a WIP and Chat. So grab out whatever is your work in progress or your current entertainment, just in case you're just going around about your day and doing some chores or shopping or whatever you want to do in the time that you are listening to me ramble on in this video. So I'm going to start with this color. As you might see, I have completed this section above last week, as I said I would do off screen. And I have started this section. I did just the black first, and now I'm starting on the second color. At first I wanted to do smaller sections because this cover plastic is actually kind of a pain in the behind. But I decided to just use bigger sections and just struggle along with it. Just, well, because I can. And it's just a project for once a week, so it's not as if that's so important that I need to struggle a little bit with it. So yeah, first off, how are you all doing? I hope you had a fantastic week, had a good time with friends or family, or just by yourself. Because I know from experience that can be very relaxing as well. Yeah, my week was a bit of everything. I'm going to wiggle my cable. That's a little bit better. Sorry if the blinking triggered you. I could have better paused it for a little bit. I hope it wasn't too bad. I'm going to see in the editing if I need to just cut it out or anything, but I will. Still making a little bit of noise, but it's not as bad anymore as it was. So yeah, my week was a bit of everything. Okay, hold on, I'm still going to wiggle around a little bit because it's still annoying me. It just started to get a little bit higher. Hold that thought for a second. Okay, I think that's better. But yeah, as I said, my week was a little bit of everything. Some good, some bad, some ugly, and everything in between. But yeah, let's be honest, what week isn't? This part I actually need to do a lot of special drills because all these big circles here, there's 33 over here, in case you're looking on the screen, and 34 in here. Those are both special drills. I don't know if you can see it up here, the one I'm pointing at now. That's a special drill. That's all the white ones. And then there is the same one in blue. That's the 4 down here. So I will be placing those in a bit. But first going to place a little bit more of the regular drills. Just because I can. Yeah, so in case you've been here before, or at least last week, been telling you last week that the northern light was more visible in my region for like a couple of days. Well, we most likely saw it Thursday, I believe. Thursday or Friday. I'm blanking on what day it exactly was, but it was somewhere last week. So we most likely saw it. Because my husband, I don't know if he looked at his app or if he got a notification. Because if you've been here last week, you've known that my husband downloaded an app for like notifications, I think, or at least like a watching app for like the Northern Lights. And he was like, hey, the chance of seeing them is like, I believe, 6 or something. And that's apparently pretty high. because the peak of the week before, like when it was like really high chances, it was 8. So it was a pretty big chance. But it was pretty cloudy, so it was a case of like, hit or miss. Went to bed, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to open up our not the curtains, our rolling blinds, calling them like that, because that's how they are called here. Well, rolling shutters. So I'm like, I'm going to open those just in case, by any chance, the northern light is visible. And at least I can see it from bed and we don't miss it again. Well, I went upstairs, opened the blinds, and like almost directly I saw like a very orangey, pinky kind of glow in the darkness of the light. So I was like, I'm not entirely sure. I also saw a part where it was more like whitish light. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to look at the attic and see if I can see it better there, because yeah, when I look from our window in the bedroom, I look right against the side of the window of the people next to us, behind us, however you want to call it. So yeah, there is some interference in between. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to look at the attic, because then I can look over everything. And it became more clear. So I texted my husband like, hey, come up to the attic, would you? So he came upstairs and he was like, yeah, I think that's the northern light, because yeah, it's like way too bright and it's all in like the northern direction. And if we look like more at the side of our house, it wasn't as dark, like the sky itself wasn't as dark. So we're not 100% sure we saw it, but good. The chances are pretty good for it. So I was happy. At least I now know for sure that I saw the northern light. Don't know where you all are from, but it might be that it's more normal for you than it's for me. But here you don't see them that often. And many times if you see them, they're like in the middle of the night or something. Or like it's very visible, but it's also very cloudy. And yeah, then you don't see as much as well. Yeah, I was happy with that. What I wasn't as happy with that Saturday, I believe, our daughter was sick. She was fuzzy like the entire day, didn't want to do her chore. And we're like, seriously? And then in the evening, she was like, I don't feel good. We're like, yeah, well, that explains a lot. I think it was Friday. But yes, we're like, well, if you don't feel good, then just tell us, because then we know why you're being fuzzy the entire day. And if you don't feel so good, we would have known that you wouldn't want to do your chore, instead of you just being fussy and we needing to fuss at you. Ooh, I almost forgot like an entire patch here. In case you don't know the image, it's an image of a peacock. So this is like a big tail, a part of the tail. So yeah, I think it's cute. Yeah, so we were at our daughter a bit, not frustrated, that's not the right word with it, but a little bit like, seriously? Because, yeah, it's not fun when you need to fuss at your kids while it's just them being not feeling great. And yeah, if you know they're not feeling great, you can understand why they're a bit fussy. At least I can. And I guess most parents can, but yeah, so then everything clicked, like why she was fussy, why she was in bed most of the day, because that's also not her. Yes, she likes to lay in her bed, but most of the time it's like for a little bit, or play in, like just regular play in her bed, like she has like a play kitchen in her room. then she has like a little picnic in her bed or something. That's normal. But her laying in her bed for most of the day, not entirely normal, but yeah, if she doesn't say anything, I'm like, well, maybe she's just tired or anything. I have those days when I want to lay in bed for the entire day. Doesn't happen that much, but I have a feeling of it. Even though at times my husband let me sort of sleep in the weekend. It's not like really sleeping in. I believe I did that on Saturday, Friday or Saturday. I'm not entirely sure. Days blend in a little bit. But yeah, it's not, he was awake before me. My body was, as per usual, not being very nice to me. And he was awake already, so he took the kids downstairs. And so, yeah, I think it was Sunday. So I just could have my body wake up as well. And then get out of bed after that. Which was nice, but the only downfall about that is that I normally then need to do everything like what I normally do, like cleaning wise in the morning. Need to do that like in a shorter time span. It's possible, not that it's not possible, but it's just annoying. Also today, kids woke up to go to school, and son woke up with a fever, so he could stay at home. Wasn't too happy with that. Obviously, it's not something he can. It's not his fault. Obviously, I understand that, but it was like, seriously, because today was the first time after my husband's vacation that he had last week that I would have the house entirely to myself, because both kids should be at school, husband should be at work. So I would have just had the time for myself. I would have been filming this time lapse in the afternoon. Then after that, could pick up the kids. Should have been potentially even have dinner prepped as far as possible before they even got out of school and everything. But yeah, that did not go according to plan. I also needed to go to the store to pick up some stuff, especially like cough medicine, because our son is starting to cough again. And yeah, it keeps at least his throat a little bit, like, it keeps him from overly coughing, so it's like it keeps it irritated. It keeps it from getting irritated a bit less, so he's not overly coughing too much. I know that sentence probably made 0 sense, but it will. But yeah, so I wanted to do that. I needed to bring a package away, because over the weekend I sold something. Actually, one of my resin things. I sold one of my koi fish keychains. But yeah, that didn't work out according to plan. But yeah, he woke up with a fever, so I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go to school. As I said, my daughter, the fever she had was also like a 24-hour bug. I did hear in school that multiple people had the same issue like the past few weeks, that kids have had like an actual like a 24-hour bug where they're like feeling really bad for about a day, and then a day later they're like entirely back to normal. So I hope that's this as well for my son, but we will see. But yeah, thankfully, after he woke up and he was downstairs, I gave him a little bit of medicine, basically like liquid paracetamol. And thankfully, that worked pretty quickly. And most of the times once he had it, like at least a couple of hours, depending on how sick he's feeling. But at least for a couple of hours, he feels a lot better. So it's like, as soon as the stores are open, I'm going to go do whatever I need to do, so I can stay in after that. Thankfully, everything went well. Was like doing the things I need to do first, and then I had a few things that I wanted to look for that didn't have like actual like haste. So I was like, you know what? We've done what we needed to do. Like, should we do one more store? Do you think you're up for that or not? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, then we're going to do that. But I was like, I leave the choice to him. If he says, I'm not feeling good, I want to go back home, I was like, yeah, fine by me. Because, yeah, I'd rather have him say that he's not feeling too well and just go back home after I did the shopping that I needed to get done. Because, yeah, he needed to have new medicine. And also because the liquid paracetamol I had was also like the last that I could even squeeze out of the bottle when I gave it to him this morning. So I needed to have that as well. That is even more important than the cough medicine. Which meant that I actually like needed to go. It was like, if he feels like really bad, I'm doing it later when my husband gets home. I'm like, when he's setting a foot in the door, I'm directly off. But if he's feeling okay, I'm going to do it with my son. He was up for it, so thankfully that worked out. But yeah. So that was not according to plan. Daughter was also not happy because that meant that she wasn't able to go to the gym class, which they both actually really enjoy doing. So yeah, that wasn't going too great. But oh well, can't have everything. And I'm just one parent and my own, and yeah, husband does need to work at times. So it's not that I can say like, hey, one of the kids is sick, you need to take like at least a few hours off to take the other one to gym class. I'm like, it's not that important. It's not as if it's like the day before the last class before they have like a competition, because they don't have that. It's not as if she would be on like swimming lessons and would be having her swimming exam the week after or something. Then I would have said like, yeah, that's important enough. But yeah, this wasn't important enough for me. Yeah, I still had a pretty decent fever when I put him in bed, so hopefully a good night's sleep will do him good. He did sleep this afternoon. Woke up pretty groggy afterwards, but that's to be expected because I woke him up at like almost 2:45, and we needed to be at the school for pickup at 3. Even though my daughter's class was like really late. It was like 3:05. Normally it's like almost like when the clock strikes 3, they're out. So for their doing, they were pretty late. But oh well. The only downfall is that it was raining pretty badly when school was out. So yeah, I was like, we need to keep moving, keep walking along a little bit faster. Thankfully, they both walked along. Son was not too happy with it. I was like, yeah, if you walk along fast, then we're quickly at home, and then you can put your. I was first thinking like your pajama on, but in the end I decided not to, because it was potentially that I needed to pick up my husband from work, because we had a code yellow for weather-wise, for lots of big amounts of rain. Hail, I believe, up till 2 centimeters diameter. So those are pretty decent chunks. And I also believe like wind a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure. No, thunder. So thunder and lightning. And yeah, we had something easy to cook today. So I'm like, if it rains really hard, I just come pick you up. I gave him one of the small umbrellas that we have in the car. So like, in case you need to run to the gate, because otherwise I can't go really close to like the front door of his work. So I'm like, yeah, then I can wait at the gate, but then at least you can get somewhat dry to the car. But yeah, thankfully he didn't need it. It was raining, but not as much. I even think that when I picked up our daughter at school, that it even rained more than when he came home. But yeah, the weather here is pretty awful lately. We've had multiple times like code yellow. It isn't like too much of a fuss because yeah, we have green, then yellow, then orange, then red. And red is like, yeah, something big is going to happen. But we've had bigger amounts of water lately because yeah, there have been quite a lot of rain. I almost want to call them storms. Which also means that like a lot of the like rainwater collection points are full and everything, and rivers and creeks and basically everything that collects water is at its maximum. Which in this case also meant that yeah, it was so much at its peak that at places last week, at least in the area, at places it flowed over. So we've had a couple of water issues in the area. Do know today in certain parts of the land it was pretty bad. I believe it was more up north. Don't know where exactly it was, but yeah, it was pretty bad. Today it was not too bad here in the area, thankfully. Yeah, it's been pretty bad in some places. Thankfully, if you've been here before, you know this. If not, I'm going to tell you. Thankfully, we live in a hilly area and we live almost on top of the hill. So thankfully for us, that means that our house is not quickly to flood. And basically, I think that if it would ever flood, I can just open our basement door and it floods right out. Because, yeah, we have a basement that's at the back, like lower than the front. It's like an entire step back, but since we're on a hill, it's like our house is like built into the hill. So where our front door is like a few steps up from the sidewalk. If you would have had that same level in back, well, it now is like an entire story lower. So the entire attic at the back of the house is free. Which means that we have just regular opening doors at the back of our attic. No, not the attic. That would be a bit something. Our basement. The attic would be strange if I had an open going door, because that's quite a way up. And we don't have a flat roof, so it's not that you can say like, hey, we have a like patio on top of a roof. Would be nice, but we don't have that. But yeah, at some places here the weather has been quite awful. I do know that, and I don't know where exactly it was again, but I know it's like in our area, maybe a little into Belgium. That's also possible, but I do know that there are somewhat close to us, like 2 campings have been evacuated for at least part of the day. I believe over the weekend, but I'm not entirely sure. As I said, like the days blend in a little bit because we've had a 4-day weekend because our daughter couldn't go to school last week because they had a little bit of a teacher issue because one of the teachers' moms passed away. One of the teachers had to have some medical stuff, and yeah, it's a whole lot of something. So yeah, on Friday our daughter didn't go to school. Yeah, on Monday it was a holiday. So yeah, it blends in a little bit. But yeah, it's not that bad, but it's a little bit more of an issue. Like, what day was what again? We didn't do much in the weekends. Also partly because it was such bad weather. Wasn't nice weather to walk outside, to just go to walk somewhere or something. Let's have just a look to see if I'm really filming. And I am. Would be something if I wasn't. Because then I could start rambling all over again. Wouldn't be the first time to happen, so yeah. I rather check every once in a while. But yeah, last week, at least on Thursday till Tuesday, both kids were in school. Our daughter did have school also on Monday. But she had off Friday, and our son had off on Monday. So it was a whole something. But yeah, that meant that we had some time to... Well, my husband and I had some time to like do stuff by ourselves. So we've been watching for stuff to do with our garden, or at least like our patio, balcony area that we have like at the back side of our house. So it's like an extension of our living room. Not really an extension, but it's like a balcony sort of on our living room. But as I said, like our basement is entirely free, so that also means that it's like a story up. So it's like, it's the balcony or is it the patio? I don't know where exactly it falls under, but yeah, it's a roofed in area that we cleaned last week, which totally exhausted. But yeah, we want something like a few nice plants, so at least you look at something nice from the inside. But yeah, we needed to decide like what kind of like flower pots, what kind of flowers, what we want. Still don't know, but we have a few ideas. It's now getting from the idea to the actual doing the stuff. It's a whole different ball game, but it will. We'll get there eventually. But at least we have an idea. Because it's just easier to look at certain things without the kids. Just because, yeah, then you don't need to look where they are going. Or if they're touching plants that they shouldn't be touching. Yeah, so that meant that we had like a little bit time for that. Went to some stores close to us. Picked up a like weeds. Yeah, what is it? Kind of a contraption. It's like a sort of electric brush that brushes the weeds out of in between like tiles and stuff on like a sidewalk or anything like that. Or paved area, you better say. So I picked up that. I've done a little bit of that just to test if it would work. It doesn't pick out the grasses in between the tiles, but at least it does like a lot, like mosses and like small annoying plants. And so I'm happy with that. Now I need to wait until the weather is a little bit better so I can do a little bit more. Downside is that the weeds start growing as weeds, so yeah. Oh well. Let's keep it at that. But at least I can have a big part of it out. Then I have like the seams in between this, everything like a little bit cleaned out. So I can just yank everything out. Hopefully that makes it also a lot easier. But yeah, we'll see, we'll see. Also on Wednesday, our daughter's friend came over again, so I've let them do a little bit of crafts together. They painted these little like insects, I think they were, like dragonflies, butterflies, a few flowers and stuff like that. So they painted a bit. They had like all kinds of fun stuff to do. So yeah, that's the thing I try to do. Especially when there are kids here, like friends to play over, that it's like at least a bit fun to do. If they want to play upstairs the entire day, fine by me, but yeah. I think that was like most of like the during the day stuff. I believe on Friday. No, Thursday. On Thursday I did some potion making. On Thursday I made the potions, and on Friday I made some rings, I believe. No, Saturday I did them, so my husband could take them with him in the evening. So they are for his D&D game that he does with some, I call them friends, it's just a group that came together solely for playing D&D. And yeah, he likes to have the props and everything. Because especially with potions and stuff, he's like, yeah, you easily forget that you have them. Yes, you can make an inventory and stuff, but yeah, if you have like 20 things, especially for like longer campaigns, apparently, it's really easy to look over stuff. So he's like, yeah, it's nice to at least be able to, like, every time they set up, be like, okay, who has what potions? Okay, like, you have this one. Okay, here you have your token, so they easily know what to do. If you know what they have, I better say it like that. So it's like, yeah, fine. As long as you know what kind of something you want, I'm willing to make it. So on, I believe it was on Thursday evening, we have been spending some time together in the basement, because that's where most of my craft supplies are. Diamond pinning stuff I can take upstairs with me. Resin work, not so much. So I have, well, he came to the basement with me so he could like see, like, okay, this is the idea I have, like, okay, I want to have like 4 types, because there are 4 types. These were the only potions that have a mention of how they look. So it's like he does want them then like red, and apparently when they're agitated, so stirred or shaken or whatever, they should glow a little bit, but that's with resin pretty hard. So it's like, I want to have them clear. And then give them a little bit of a look as if, like, if you made them yourself, you can choose pretty like the strands, like it looks a little bit like watered down for some versions, because also there are like 4 strands of them. So we decided to do like make a batch of resin, pour some in the little bottles, put some extra coloring in, put some in bottles again, another batch of coloring and stuff like that. And we made 4 different colors of potions. So I will be putting them up in the screen here somewhere. Not entirely sure where, but probably here. Of like the 4 different potions. So it's like a really, almost like a, yeah, it's not really watery, but it looks watery. But a tiny bit of pink. Then one that's a little bit more colored. Then the next one goes to like red, and then the last one is like almost like black red. You can see if you keep it in the light or anything, you can see that it has like a red basic coloring. But when you look at it from a distance, you look pretty black. So now, my husband is now looking to print out some labels for it. So he needs to see like how he wants to attach them, if he wants to like really use like sticker labels or anything, or how he wants to do it. He also wants to have now a different set of them. Because, yeah, there are more potions. Not everything is used as much, but he wants to have more of them. So now I am all testing out all my colors. And like written out like what is what's this color, what's that color. So I can later on know like what everything is. Because I use a lot of mica powders. Those can be quite a pain in the behind to see what is what. Because sometimes you think it's like almost like a red color. And then you have it in your resin and it appears to be pink. Like a hot pink or anything. Instead of like a darker kind of red. So that's not always easy. Especially if you have like a certain thing in mind with it. So now I'm test batching basically to see like, okay, what color is what? How does it look? And yeah, that's also a thing that I did like yesterday evening, so on Monday evening. Because I was like, yeah, I can do the time-lapse filming. I can do that later on because, yeah, I should have been having today off from like filming in the evening. Because, yeah, normally our son should be in school. What color is this? Oh, it's that one. I was thinking like, what is it? I have found it. It's this one. But yeah, not that I really do mind that I can't work on it now, but that's that one, that's that one. Okay, check. But yeah, I was like, I want to have that as well, so I can nicely see what all colors I have. So when he has a certain idea about something he wants, he can just go to my test colors and be like, okay, this one is the one I want. Okay, that's that number. Okay, I need to grab this color. And then be like, okay, I do need it a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, or anything. And obviously I can also mix and match if necessary. Yeah, so that's what I have been working on yesterday, like doing an entire test batch of like only greens, blacks and whites and green. Because that's the only thing I could get in my mold. Because I have an alphabet mold, so yeah, obviously 26 spaces. They do have 2 extra spaces. One is a heart and one is a bone. So I can have 28, but yeah, the bone is a little bit harder to draw, and my hearts are also not the best to draw. So I'm basically being extra and try to make it as much as possible, but also keep it so that when one of the colors is empty and I get some other colors and there would be like a set or anything, that I still have space for other colors to be put in between, so that I don't have all the colors directly full. Yeah, so that's keeping me busy for the next couple of weeks probably. Making all the next potions, like making the rest of the rings, because I still needed 3 more colors, but I made those with UV resin, so the kind that you need UV light for to cure them. And I only have one of these molds, so it takes 5 minutes per ring to make. Yeah, I had 2 batches that I needed to remake, because the first batch I took them out of the mold too quickly. I think I waited like 2 minutes or anything, so they were a little bit sticky, which also isn't nice. Hey, yeah. But yeah, that basically took up like almost my entire Saturday, because I think I started that at like 11 in the morning, at least, for like looking out like this color I need, that color I need, like what's all the supplies I need and how I need to do it and everything. Made a start on it. After lunch I moved along with it, worked on it some more. Go to switch pens. Ow! Bumped my elbow on the chair next to me. But yeah, so I think I stopped at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Come on, more on your side too. So these are the like big crystal kind of contraptions, like the 33. So I use this wax pen. I'm going to stand up to see if you can see what I do. So these ones. And I use this. This is like a wax pencil. I really like these, because I press pretty hard on the tips because I move them around. Especially with like regular drill, special drill projects. If I have a drill that I need to move around, I just use this pen. And whenever this pen is, yeah, getting dull or not sticking too good anymore, I just grab a pen sharpener. Also, this way I move them around a little bit often. Oh, come on. Then you're going to go like that. Then I start down and move up. Also fine by me. Like I can just use like a regular coloring pen, pencil sharpener, and just sharpen these. And I can just move along right along with them. Just like this, I move them around a little. Are they not sticking anymore? I can just scrape with my nail a little edge off and they're good to go again. So that's always really nice. But yeah, when I need to press a little bit harder, I try to get the back end of the pen, because yeah, otherwise the like wax moves out directly. And the downfall of these big drills, they don't want to line up as well. But yeah, at least Saturday was a fun day, because as I said, like most of my day was filled with doing my resin work, which I at the moment absolutely love. So in case you also, just like my husband, would love to play D&D or any other game, I would like to have some potion tokens. You can shoot me a message and we can work something out, because I'm pretty sure I can make them for you. If nothing else, I can make the base. And that also gives me a lot of fun stuff to work with. And yeah, I love to work with resin. But yeah, I also like it when I have some use for it. Okay, I just need 4. This is the darker blue kind. Hope you can see them. They're pretty. But yeah, in the evening, my husband had D&D, so because the UV resin works with like a UV light to cure them, I could directly take them along. He could them. Because I can demold them in like 5 minutes. Oh, what was that for a bang? Something crashed. As long as it wasn't an explosion, but it sounded a bit like it. Happens sometime. But it can also be something that just bangs around a bit hard. Also the downside of living on top of a valley, if something bangs on the floor really hard, like a container or anything, you can hear it. Like you have sometimes at these metal containers, like dumpster things that are being placed or anything, and they fall so loud that, yeah, you almost think it's an explosion. But yeah, so my husband had his D&D game in the evening, and as I said, because the resin that I used is a fast curing kind, so it's like demoldable after 5 minutes instead of like 24 hours, give or take. Depending on what kind of project it is, I may sometimes keep them a little bit longer or a bit shorter in the mold. Because if it's just a test project, then I'm like 12 to 16 hours and then I'm able to demold them. But if it's like something that is really needing to be precise, then I most of the times wait a little bit longer. Yeah, so these were able to demold like 5 minutes later. So the entire batch I made on Saturday, he could take with him Saturday evening, which was nice. The group he plays with did like them, so that's nice. Didn't have any orders from them yet, but who knows, maybe in the future. But yeah, as long as he has like his collection, more they don't need, so I also understand if they won't order them from me. But yeah, in the evening, as I said, he had his D&D group and I made myself comfortable on the couch. I had some rosé, since we bought that like a couple of days before. I don't know exactly when, I believe on Wednesday or something. I'm not sure. Somewhere last week we bought a bottle of rosé, which every once in a while I like. So I got myself a glass of that, made myself like a little snack plate, as we call it. If you would be really fancy, a charcuterie plate, board, whatever you want to call it. Basically like a cutting board with some cheese, a little bit of meat, and everything, and just plunk it on the table. It's just a one-person version, a little bit of nuts. It was nice. I like it. And then, while I had that, had my drinks, had my food, I watched the first part of the 3rd season of Bridgerton, because that dropped last week on Thursday. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to watch that when my husband's around, if I can just do something else. And yeah, I could just watch it like really quiet, nicely, when my husband was away. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to put the TV on with a show to watch with him around. Not that he would mind, because the rest of the seasons I did like that. But I'm like, if on Saturday he's away, I can also watch it then. Those few days don't matter too much. No, I'm not giving spoilers. I did enjoy myself very much watching it. I watched like the entire part 1 of the season in one go. And I plan on doing the same with the next part. Because my husband goes to play D&D at someone. And they start, or at least they get there at like 7:30, which is also normally the time that the kids go to bed. So that's also the day that I put the kids in bed by myself. Not that I mind, because it's not that I can't handle them. But on those days, I put them to get to bed by myself, so it sometimes takes a little bit longer, depending on how nice the kids are playing along. Let's be honest with that. The joys of being a parent. But yeah, so they were nice this time. Obviously, there was still a little bit of fussing, because, yeah, what kid wants to go to bed? And I think I started like a little after 8. Yeah, I watched like a little bit, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to make my plate with snacks. So I paused it. I also had a candle on the table because, yeah, I normally also make candles, but since I don't burn candles as much as I used to do, because, yeah, there's something with kids. And nowadays, I'm most of the times here sitting on my dining room table diamond painting. Which also means that I'm not going to look at my living room table for the candle. And it's not as if we have so much space that I can put everything everywhere. But yeah, so I put myself a nice candle on the table and everything. Got myself a nice blanket. And yeah, those episodes are like a little less than an hour, but that's including like intro, outro and everything. So it was like, normally I would do 3 episodes and then have one evening that I just do 2 for like the entire season. Because normally there are 8. But it was like, yeah, if I watch 3 now, I have to watch 1 at a later date. I was like, yeah, most likely my husband is like, was at times like back like 11:30, 12 o'clock, sometimes a bit later, depends also on like how busy everything gets on the road. This time it was pretty awful because he came at like a roadworks, which weren't very much, well, put out there, so he didn't know that they were there. Needed to grab his phone to drive around them and kept coming back to the same point because Google didn't have it in the right system right. So yeah, that did not work. Yeah, so I had like a little before 12. I was done with it. So yeah. But it was like, yeah, even if he would have been home by 11, I would have still watched it. Because otherwise, with just 1 episode, and you're like, yeah, by the time you're completely immersed in the show, it's over. So I wasn't having that. Yeah, so I watched the entire season. Was done like a little before 12, so after that, cleaned up the mess I made. Not that it was a big mess, because yeah, I needed to put my glass away, we needed to put my plate away, candle on the side, and put everything back where they belonged. And that was it. But yeah, it was very fun. Can't wait till part 2 drops. Because yeah, it was split up. And most likely I will be doing the same way as I am now. Hopefully it's also like the D&D game of my husband is like this, the first Saturday after the next season drops, of the next part drops. Because, yeah, that saves me a lot of spoiler alerts. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think that's basically about everything that has been going on this week. I have been rambling on for long enough now, I think, so I'm going to leave it at this because I have not much happening the upcoming week. The only thing I can still tell you is that I finished part 3 of my cross-stitch conversion on the round kit, and I have started on the square. I have the first row done on square, and I filled in the new drills, quote unquote, I had for the last 2 pages. I had 3 colors that I have gotten in the meantime since I last worked on it that I could use. So I filled those in. And now I'm working along with the next part. So until those colors again are empty, I have something to do. Yeah, so most of the parts 1 and 2 of at least the squares are mostly done, like the entire background so far as I am now is done. I only need like the books, but I need a few colors of blue that I don't have at the moment. So yeah, we'll see whenever I get them. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at this because it's long enough as is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it's as per usual pretty rambly. Yeah, I would very much appreciate it if you would like this video. Give it a thumbs up, like somewhere underneath the video here. Because, yeah, that would help me out. If you haven't subscribed already to the channel and you would like to see more WIP and Chats like this or other diamond painting related videos, I every now and then do something else. Every last Wednesday of the month you will see a WIP and Chat with me working on a latch hook kit. Because, yeah, I have been working on that thing for 3 years and I want to finish it. So once a month, at least minimum, I am going to work on it. So next week, I will be showing that latch hook kit again. And for the rest, not much happened. Not much to share. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. As I said, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Well, thumbs down if you disliked it. Would also work. Yeah, as I said, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you want to be notified for my videos when I upload them, please hit the bell. Yeah, you know, all the YouTube stuff. And yeah, if there's anything you want me to tell, to ask me, whatever you can think about, or just show me that you watched this video, you can also just leave a simple emoji just to let me know that you have watched this video. That would be very much appreciated, because yeah, I like to see who watches my videos. And yeah, I also like the interaction with you. So yeah, as I said before, I'm going to leave at this. You know the drill, all the YouTubey stuff, like, and subscribe and everything. You know the drill, as I said before. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your week. And I hope to see you in a next video. Bye!